Hey everyone, it's Holly and I'm here with my January wrap-up, and it was a pretty good reading month. I read 11 books and I'm very happy with that. I don't want to seem like I'm not happy. I am happy. I'm actually kind of surprised when I went to count them all up. It was a big surprise to me. It's been kind of a crazy month and I'm not sure when that's going to slow down. At the beginning of the month, I was out of town, which I thought was going to translate into me reading a lot, but I didn't. It's been very busy at work, so I've been working a ton of overtime. We're only open Monday through Friday, and I even had a weekend where I worked on a Saturday, and then I had a party for work, and it's just been busy, and reading has been the thing that's kind of had to step aside for other things, and it definitely looks like at least the overtime is going to continue on into February. So I don't know what that means, but I'm still happy with having read 11 books, and in general they were really good books. So the first two are actually technically books I read in December, but I read them after I did my wrap up, so they're going in here, whatever. So I read Lakeshore Christmas by Susan Wiggs, and I gave this 3 stars. It was okay, it was kind of disappointing. The writing style was a little weird. I don't know, I'm honestly not sure I would read another book by Susan Wiggs. And then I got to pick up The Rogue Not Taken by Sarah McLean. Oh my gosh, so excited. I was so disappointed because I think I might have said this in my book haul. I went to Barnes & Noble and they didn't have this. I'm sure it was just sold out. So I went to Target, which thankfully had it, because I went on release day. I freaking loved this book. It was amazing. I read it in one day. Oh my gosh, and I'm loving these slightly chunkier Avon books, because normally their books in my experience have been 374 pages, and this is over 400. I just bought another one that's over 400. So excited. This is the first book in a new series by Sarah McLean, whom I love anyways. I gave this 5 stars. I love the main character, Sophie. She's so funny. She's so independent and free-thinking. She's definitely a 21st century girl living in a historical world. It was such a great story. The romance is definitely a little antagonistic, which I really like. Oh my gosh, I love it. If you've not read a Sarah McLean, you could start with this one and love it, and then you'll probably want to go read all of her other books because they're also amazing. Then I read Rush Too Far by Abby Glines, and this is basically Fallen Too Far from Rush's perspective. I gave this 3 stars. It was kind of what I expected. I was hoping I would like it more, maybe it would make me look at Rush and Blair a little differently, but it didn't. Rush was exactly what I expected. He's not my favorite guy ever. He's not horrible, but I really don't like him. Actually, he kind of bothered me more in here than he does in the other books. The way he treats his mom and his sister really bothers me. I know everybody hates Nan, and I don't like her, but a lot of times I feel like she gets misused and everything, so just reading about her and people complaining about her really upsets me. Very excited for her book. I think if you liked this series, if you like Rush and Blair, you would probably like this. It wasn't horrible. It was a quick read. It's definitely Abby Glines. And then I read November 9 by Colleen Hoover. This was my first book, I believe, for the TBR Takedown, and I feel like that was forever ago, and I don't even remember what my life was like. I gave this 5 stars. I personally really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good story. I can see some of the problems that people have with it, but especially with Ben, is that his name? I'm horrible with names. Yes, with Ben. I think it's really easy to judge somebody for one mistake they made in their life, and yeah, it was a pretty big, huge mistake. And I had to deal with my own feelings on it, because I definitely compared it to some other books, and I was like, well, similar situations happen in this book, and I don't like when a character does that, so but I feel like Colleen Hoover takes Ben and does enough with him to make it him learning from that mistake and knowing it was a mistake, and I think that's the thing, is he knows what he did. I really liked Fallon. I thought she was amazing. I think this is a different story. In general, I think if you've liked all of Colleen Hoover's books, you will like this. Then I read, this was also for TBR Takedown, Die For Me by Amy Plum, which I gave 4 stars. This is a paranormal young adult. It's about a girl who, after her parents moved, she and her sister moved to Paris to live with their grandparents, and she ends up meeting this guy who's part of like a secret organization of people who like are immortal, basically. I enjoyed it. I thought it was cute. The heroine, but I liked her. She could have been really mopey, especially with the whole like dead parents thing, but she wasn't, which I really enjoyed. I thought Amy Plum did a good job of laying out some information about like the immortals and everything, but leaving some stuff unanswered, so you want to keep reading. It's not groundbreaking or anything, but I don't have a problem with that. Personally, I don't have a problem with cliches and tropes and stuff, so I don't mark books down for that. And I do want to continue the series, but not immediately. The way it ended didn't like make me feel like I needed to go buy the next book right away. So for now I'm going to hold off, but I'm definitely glad I finally read it. And then I believe this is my last book for the TBR Takedown. I finally finished The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. I had to read 3 more novellas in here, the 3 biggest ones. I guess I would say I gave this 3 stars. I think I gave 2 to 3 stars to all of the novellas. I'm just not a fan of Selena. I'm sorry. I find her very arrogant, like unnecessarily arrogant. Like, I don't think she's as amazing as she thinks she is. I think she's very selfish. I don't think she grows a lot. I don't think she learns. I think she's very childish and immature. And it's really hard because I want to like her and I want to like these characters, and I can't like fully invest in them. I'm not sure, I think I might have said this in a review somewhere. I own Heir of Fire, so I'm going to read it. But after that, if I'm not like in love with this story, I think I'm gonna call this series quits, because there's just certain things that Sarah J. Maas does and that I just don't like. I don't see the point in investing my time in them. That's not to say that I wouldn't read something else by her. Like, I do kind of still want to read A Court of Thorns and Roses and stuff, so I will do that and try something else, and maybe just Selena isn't for me. Sometimes I feel like I am alone in the world of people who don't like Selena, and I promise I'm not being contrary. I like a lot of the other characters, and that's where I struggle with this. Is like, I love Sam, and in the main books, like, there are definitely characters I love. Like, I love Kale, I love Dorian, but Selena just drives me bonkers. So then I read some ebooks. I read Suddenly Royal by Nicole Chase, which I had been wanting to read for a while. I gave it 4 stars. I would consider it like contemporary romance bordering on new adult. It's about a graduate student who finds out that she is basically royalty that had fled from this like small country. I mean, like, think Princess Diaries kind of a thing. And so she's going back and she's going to be a duchess, and then she meets the prince of that country and they kind of have a thing, but she's like reluctantly going back and doesn't really want to get caught up in like a royal relationship or anything. It was a very cute, fun story. I gave it 4 stars, if I didn't say. It reminded me a lot of The Princess Diaries 2, the movie, which I like a lot. I don't know. I really like it. It's not like the best movie ever, but it's enjoyable. And The Prince and Me, like, it was kind of light. It had some serious moments, but it was a pretty light, nice contemporary romance. I do want to read the other books in this series as well. And then I read The Score by Elle Kennedy, which came out this month, which is the 3rd book in her off-campus series. And this follows Dean and Allie, and I didn't know I needed a book about them until I read it. It's now my favorite in the series. I haven't reread The Mistake, so like maybe if I reread The Mistake, that would be my favorite. But no, I loved this book. I gave it 5 stars. They were great characters. It's super sex positive. It's got an incredibly healthy relationship. I think Elle Kennedy is amazing. I think her and Serena Bowen are 2 of the best writers in new adult. Like, they are taking some serious issues that I see in new adult and just like being like, whatever. And whether they do it like outright address them or just like casually not care about them. I think it's amazing. It's definitely funny. I loved it. Oh my gosh, I need the next book in the series so bad. I saw the ending coming and I still, like, it blew my mind. I'm so excited. If you read these, tell me if you feel the same. It was great. And just like Serena Bowen, Elle Kennedy makes me want to reread her other books. So I reread The Deal, which I gave 4 stars again. It's not my favorite in the series, but that really just comes down to the storyline kind of a thing. Like, there's certain storylines that just are naturally going to be ones you don't like as much, and that's for me here. It's still a really solid story. I still love these characters, and I love Elle Kennedy's writing. The plot just isn't my favorite. I had been trying to slowly read Crown Jewel by Sherwood Smith before I was going to bed at night. I was trying to read 2 chapters a night, and I did really good for a while, and then I was like, no, I got to read it because it's so good. So I've reread this so many times, but I hadn't read it in like 5 years, and I had forgotten a lot, which was great. It was kind of like I got to read it for the first time again. I gave it 5 stars, of course. This is like my favorite fantasy novel, and I love it. I love the main character. I think some people might be frustrated by her, but we have very similar personalities. Like, she's very impulsive. She says things and then immediately regrets them. And it's like, oh crap, I shouldn't have said that. That was like the wrong thing. And like always feels like she's going to do the wrong thing. And that's definitely me. So I really feel for her. And I think in a lot of ways I've been reflecting on those parts of my personality in the last year or two. And so like, in some ways it was hard to read this because I was like, oh my gosh, I totally get you. It's a great story. There's a slight romance in it, but it's like nothing. So if you don't like romance, don't be afraid of this. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. And I've never read another Sherwood Smith book, and I know I should. I own one, and I know I need to read more, but I just like, I think part of me is afraid that they won't be as good, and then I'll be disappointed, and I'll be like, oh my god. I don't know. If you've read Sherwood Smith and want to recommend a place for me to like start now from here, let me know down in the comments. I'd appreciate it. And plus, that was a book on my winter TBR. I am chugging away at the winter TBR. Speaking of, I read the first book in the Rhaenyra Revelations. So this is the bind up of the first 2 books. So I read the Crown Conspiracy, I think is what it's called. Yes. Which is what I wanted to do for my winter TBR. I'm very proud of myself. I gave it 4 stars. The only reason I gave it 4 stars is because it didn't make me have to read it. Like, I was able to put this down a lot. But it was a very enjoyable book. Fantasy does scare me a little bit because I'm always afraid it's going to be too dense for me or something like that. This was definitely approachable. The writing was very easy to take in. I like the characters. Royce and Hadrian are pretty cool. But Myron the monk is like my favorite person ever. Like, I love him. He's so adorable. And I'm definitely curious to see what goes on. I want to know. I'm hoping that a lot of the characters that were in this book are in the series as a whole, because I want to spend more time with them. And I have so many questions and I have so many theories, and I'm just like, rah. But there's 6 books, I believe, in this series, and then there's like a prequel series or something. So I definitely will probably get my questions answered, because otherwise that'd be disappointing, right? But no, I really did enjoy it. I do think I'm going to step away for a little bit, not because I didn't enjoy it. I'm just kind of looking for something else right now. Those are the books I read in January. Like I said, it was a really good reading month. I'm very happy with what I've done, and who knows how many I'll read in February, but hopefully it'll be a good reading month. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!